An earlier attempt at me making this video for the recap of the Cardinals Seahawks games was just, I started out, I said wow, and then I didn't have any other words after that, and I think that would have been accurate representation of what we just saw, because wow, 58-0, the Seahawks breaking some franchise records, going up for some NFL records to be at the top 10 in some points and scoring that has never happened before, and that was just an absolute abomination. I said I would be keeping it classy the better the Seahawks did. So if you're going to win 58-0, move to 8-5, move up in the wild card standings, we're talking bow tie, button up, looking great, cologne on, super fresh, okay? Seahawks just absolutely obliterated. I'm just going to keep on coming up with more adjectives and adverbs for what just happened. 493 total yards of offense for the Seahawks, season high. Just 154 yards of total offense for the Arizona Cardinals. They had just 2.7 yards per play. John Skelton was 11 for 22 for 74 yards, and Ryan Lindley was 8 of 17 for 59 yards. Now, the Arizona Cardinals are probably the worst offense in the NFL. So, I don't know how you make those two quarterbacks look bad. They didn't have that much further down to go. With 4 interceptions on the part of Skelton and really ineffective play on the part of Lindley, you made them look bad. Larry Fitzgerald has had a very tough season playing with these guys, but we're reaching new levels of amazingness when Larry Fitzgerald is targeted 11 times and finishes 1 catch for 2 yards. Richard Sherman, he just decided to adder ball out today, completing 2 interceptions, 1 touchdown. I want to get this right. 2 fumble recoveries for Richard Sherman. And just really going nuts, going off, preparing himself for an appeal. Maybe he thinks, if he's able to have a game quite like this one, the NFL will say, oh my God, we can't be without you, Richard Sherman. You're too good. You're the NFL Defensive Player of the Year. He's going to get Defensive Player of the Week. Unless they're going to, hurt him for the upcoming suspension, which would be BS. But Richard Sherman, Defensive Player of the Week. And we're talking about the Defensive Player of the Week in the same game. He went and scored 58 points. Offensively, Robert Turbin, we got to see what he can do. 20 carries for Robert Turbin. He goes 108 yards. Behind Marshawn Lynch, who had 11 carries for 128 yards and 3 touchdowns. In addition to that, we got to see our Matt Flynn for the first time as a Seattle Seahawk, and he was 5-9 for 68 yards, looking pretty good out there. It's a little bit inaccurate on some of his throws, but otherwise, you got to say, wow, our backup quarterback is miles better than anybody that the Arizona Cardinals have right now, with the exception maybe of Kevin Cobb, but he doesn't count. For the Seahawks, they move up from the number 6 seed to the number 5 seed, with the Chicago Bears losing and holding the tiebreaker over the Chicago Bears. Packers play tonight. They're 8-4. If the Packers lose, they'll move down to 8-5, and they'll be back with the Bears at 8-5, and the Seahawks have the tiebreak advantage over both of those teams. So those things looking very good. The Bucs lost. They fall to 6-7, go behind us a little bit more. And the playoff races, you got some teams coming up on Seattle, such as the Washington Redskins, perhaps the St. Louis Rams, but you cannot be sad when you go out and you win 58-0. Seattle came into the game with just plus 40 point differential, and now they're plus 98. They had just plus 1 turnover differential. Now they're plus 7 after forcing 8 turnovers. Pretty incredible game today for the Seahawks. I would say that I feel bad for the Cardinals, but I don't. We've been there before, and you do what you do. Go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can prepare yourself for the upcoming Bills game, and follow on Twitter at Field Goals and at Kenneth Arthur S. That's me.